Hey, what's up, everybody? Fred Minnick here, and I've got a pretty cool video for you, a history one, or one that is like a magic wand. I could have a wish and bring these 4 brands back. Now, this idea came from Club Marzipan member, my whiskey club over on Patreon. If you're not a member, go check it out. I got a link in the description. We get together, have barrel picks, do tastings all the time. I also give a lot of history and do a lot of reviews over there at Club Marzipan, so go check it out. Anyway, this idea comes from member Nelly P4. That's his code name anyway. And he asked me, he's like, hey, if you had a magic wand or if you won the lottery, what 4 brands would you bring back from extinction or, and they're from downtimes to back to their glory days? So I've got a really cool list for you on that. At number 4, I'm going to go with Blair Distillery. So Blair Distillery was a distillery that operated, very uniquely. So this guy had like an incredible recipe. His mother kind of ran the business, and they aged their whiskey in triangle warehouses. A couple of the brands they had obviously had Blair, but they also had a brand called Old Saxon. They became more known for that particular brand. But they were just, they were a brand that, did really well in Kentucky. People really liked it, but they could not survive the time. So after World War II, after they tried to make a comeback from Prohibition, they were not able to outfit their stills like everyone else to make industrial alcohol. And that basically ended Blair Distilling, which was in Marion County and had basically the same access to that water that Maker's Mark has today. So number 4, I'd say Blair. Now, the next one is Old Lewis Hunter. Now, this is a brand that caught my eye early in my career because of this ad. There's just something about seeing a man with an eagle on his shoulder pouring out water. I don't know. This ad drew me in on Old Lewis Hunter. And it's kind of like that meme where, you got that kind of West Virginian country mountain man making that little look like, every time I see that in an X thread or Facebook thread or whatever, I start cracking up. I absolutely love that. So Old Lewis Hunter is one, and it just kind of like, it was part of like the Seagram's world. And, when they were trying to make their comeback, they didn't have it. They didn't have enough oomph to it. And they tried to raise money, and there were people who were making claims against them that you should not invest in Old Lewis Hunter. So I'd love to see Old Lewis Hunter come back, and I'd love to see like a crazy mountain man be their spokesperson. And if that crazy mountain man could be their spokesperson and have a giant eagle on their shoulder while they're pouring out water in the riverway, that would just absolutely make my day. I would absolutely love that. That would be so cool. And number 2, the second one I would bring back would be Bourbon Falls. Now, here's the thing. Heaven Hill's within their capacity to bring this one back. This was actually their first product, so before they had Elijah Craig, Evan Williams, or even Heaven Hill Bottled and Bond, which is kind of what they, staked their claim to, what they staked their name to, Heaven Hill, is they had a product called Bourbon Falls. And I don't know, I think a company as significant as Heaven Hill, which is going into its 90th year, they're celebrating their 90th year right now, I think it'd be pretty cool if they brought back what was their first brand, released in the 1930s, very, very early. They released it and just kind of moved on to Heaven Hill pretty quickly after. And a lot of people, when they are asked what is Heaven Hill's first product, get this wrong on the trivia. It's not a very well-known thing, and to be honest with you, I do not know why Heaven Hill doesn't bring that back. They really should. It'd be kind of cool, even if it was just a one-off in their gift shop. I think it'd be cool to have that history on the shelf. And the number 1 that I would bring back, or I would say make significant again, I basically spent 20 years researching this brand and just wrote a book about it. That's a big part of what my book, Bottom Shelf, is about. If you haven't if you don't know, I've got a new book coming out in February, and it's basically my life story and how I got into bourbon and how I fell in love with a little brand called Old Crow, which turned to absolute bunk after Jim Beam bought it in 1987. So I tell the story of what happened and, the story behind Old Crow and as it pertains to my life as well. So that's what my new book, Bottom Shelf, is about. But if you really want to get down to it, like Jim Beam has the capabilities to bring this product back to its former glory. It used to be the best bourbon on the market and wasn't even close. It was the darling bourbon of the 1800s, the early 1900s, throughout Prohibition, after Prohibition, and really, it took a dive in the 60s. But what bourbon didn't take a dive in the 60s? Vodka came out and cleaned bourbon's clock. So I would make Old Crow relevant again if I won the lottery or if I waved a magic wand. And I've got to be honest with you, I hope my new book makes a dent in that, and I hope Jim Beam reads the book and is like, you know what, Fred's right. Let's bring it back. But anyway, so if you want to check out my new book, I got links in the description. Also, I've got information on how you can buy a signed copy, and I appreciate you all's support. Love everyone over at Club Marzipan. You all are so awesome. I could not have written this book without you all. Honestly, everyone in the YouTube community kind of helped me get through some tough times, and it's worth a shout out to you guys. Thank you for all that you have done for me. And I also want to know, what brand would you bring back? So put in the comment section what brand you would bring back from extinction, because who knows? Maybe you will win the lottery tomorrow. Cheers.